Funny. The Oilers didn't need him. No, Edmonton didn't need a goalie. So they elected to allow the Minnesota Wild to take Jesper Wallstedt from their grasp. And he shuts him out. Another shutout for Jesper Wallstedt this season. 4 shutouts this year, this season for Jesper. And I'm going to hit you with a hot take, scorching hot take, before we hit the intro music. Jesper Wallstedt should not only be in the Calder Trophy conversation, he should be the...
You are Locked On Wild Postcast, part of Locked On Minnesota on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
The Minnesota Wild pick up a 1-0 shutout win over the Edmonton Oilers, a game that featured both scintillating goaltending and absolute clamp defense from the Minnesota Wild as they blank one of the best offenses in the NHL. Not only did Jesper Wallstedt record his 4th shutout of the season, Jonas Brodin absolutely put Connor McDavid in the dunk tank in this one, as McDavid did not have a shot on goal until the 3rd period in this game. The Minnesota Wild keep on clicking. They find a way to generate just enough offense. But, folks, it's all about the defense here tonight. The defense and the goaltending have been outstanding. And since the first month of the season, the Minnesota Wild continue to absolutely just silence all comers as far as the offense goes. Jonas Brodin, the lone goal here tonight, fitting that he had the lone goal considering what he did to Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And penalty kill, again, they do what they need to do, especially in the last 60 seconds. Matt Boldy takes a penalty right at the top of the zone. I get it, but the Wilds kill it off, and it's fun to watch this team execute their toil, execute their craft, and just continue to rack up the wins, considering who is still out of the lineup for this Minnesota Wild team. We have a lot to get to here tonight, but I want to, as we typically do, want to just roll through the stats, roll through the statistics before we kind of dive into some of the big takeaways from this game. So we'll start with just the visual at-large stats. Edmonton with the 33-24 edge in shots on goal. The Minnesota Wilds hung right with them in that department through the first period. It just, you expect that a team that thrives on volume and shots on goal is going to have the edge. They always do. And so I'm not surprised that Edmonton has the edge. The big ones that stand out to me is 3 for 3 on the penalty kill again. Folks, we're getting closer and closer to uncharted territory. That being a penalty kill that's above 80% on the season. I don't know what to do with my hands because the penalty kill is getting dangerously close to territory that we have not seen since 2021, 2022. A higher than 80% penalty kill is very uncharted territory, and the Wild just continue to move in that direction. As far as the deeper dive statistics, the Minnesota Wilds offensively generated 1.8 expected goals. So Stuart Skinner, a rare goals saved above expected night for him. The numbers for the Minnesota Wild: 36 unblocked shot attempts, 32 low danger, 3 medium danger, 1 high danger. And I'm going to try to explain this in a way that is probably going to just sound like me kind of circling back. I don't know that it was necessarily the Oilers' defense that limited Minnesota's offense. I think it was the Oilers' offense that limited the Minnesota Wild offense, if that makes sense. But the Oilers didn't generate a ton themselves. The Oilers had a 2.76 expected goals, which is below average. So the Wild defensively did a great job of limiting those opportunities. There wasn't a ton of offense to be had in this game. The Oilers had 50 unblocked shot attempts. Listen to this. 50 unblocked shot attempts, 36 low danger attempts, 13 medium danger attempts, one high danger shot attempt for the Edmonton Oilers in this game. That's masterclass work for the Minnesota Wild defensively, because the Edmonton Oilers, they kind of like to drive the net. They like to attack, and for the Minnesota Wild to limit them in that department, that's outstanding. I just want to look, because the 5-on-5 numbers continue to improve. As far as 5-on-5 goals against, now the Edmonton Oilers have surrendered the most 5-on-5 goals. The Minnesota Wild's 5th fewest. The Colorado Avalanche are putting up video game numbers. 73 5-on-5 goals, 36 against. Just gross. But the Wild are at 5th best in that department. So the offense shut down to the tune of Connor McDavid had 1 recorded shot on goal in 23 minutes. Jonas Brodin is back and better than ever. That was just a vintage Jonas Brodin performance. Just outstanding. Like, I know preference would be for like a 4-1 win or a 3-1 win or something like that. But honestly, like, the Wild are playing really, really well right now. And they're doing so without Marco Rossi. They're doing so without Danila Yurov, who hopefully is going to come back on this trip. They just continue to find ways to get it done, and they continue to find ways to mitigate the Ben Jones minutes. 6 minutes, 39 seconds. Big performances, though. Matt Boldy continues to just get it done on both ends. Kirill Kaprizov, a solid performance. Ryan Hartman had 4 blocked shots in this game. Just some great performances by the Minnesota Wild up and down. How about Nico Sturm? Factored into the lone goal of the game. Got an assist on the Jonas Brodin goal. Also went 6 of 10 in the faceoff circle on a night in which the Wild not great in that department. But find a way. And the Wild got, honestly, what I thought was going to be the toughest game on this trip. Because it's Connor McDavid, it's Leon Draisaitl. You're not going to hold them in check every time you play them. And on this night, the Wilds, they got the full clamps. Before we go to break, I need to just go through some of the statistical precedents that Jesper Wallstedt is putting on display. These are all courtesy of Minnesota Wild's PR. Jesper Wallstedt, 15 games, required the second fewest appearances to reach 5 career shutouts in NHL history, behind Evelyn, Minnesota native Frank Mr. Zero Brimsek, 9 games back in 1938. Jesper is 7-0-0 in his last 7 starts. 971 save percentage, 0.98 goals against, and 4 shutouts. 4 shutouts in his last 7 starts. According to NHL stats, he joins Jeremy Swayman, who went 8-0-0 in 2021-2022, as the second rookie goaltender in the last 5 years to record a win streak of 7 or more games. I have more. Jesper 8-0-2 on the season. He's the third rookie goaltender in the last 45 years to begin the season with a point streak of 10 or more games. He joins Rob Stauber, 10 games in 1992-1993 with the Kings, and Bob Froese, definitely did not pronounce that right, 10 games back in 1982-1983. Jesper has become the first goaltender in more than 61 years and the 7th since 1929-1930 with 5 shutouts at the time of his 10th career win. I mean, take your pick at this point. The numbers just are mind-boggling at what Jesper is accomplishing throughout the thanks, Dan. Fraze. Thank you. That was a little before my time. The things that he's doing as a rookie need to be appreciated. We talked about we've talked previously about, it seems like every player has a different point at which the light bulb clicks on. And Jesper has had his moment this season. The light bulb is on, folks. And I know the trendy thing is to have the Calder conversation be about all the goal scorers. He needs to be in the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring Alex Micheletti into the fold, and Alex, the Oilers have got to be in just absolute purgatory right now, considering the guy that they could have drafted just shut them out, and Stuart Skinner plays one of his best games of the year, and they still lose.
I so wanted this to happen, that he gets the chance to go up against the team that should have drafted him. It adds a little bit more juice to the game, and I'm sure he was amped up to not only get the win but a shutout too. 32 saves, just super impressive. And Brodin's out there just neutralizing Draisaitl and McDavid. How about Nico Sturm, of all people, winning that draw against Leon, and Brodin gets the goal too. So it's not only did he play well defensively, he gets the game-winning goal too, the only goal in the game. So shout out to Jonas Brodin.
I'm going to do it because Zach just requested it in our group chat. Just a big night for Wally.
Yes,
I had to.
Yes.
I know this was a 1-0 game, intense all the way to the end, but this Wild team, like the defense, remember a month ago when we were like, this defense is a disaster, like they can't get the pairings figured out. Jack Capuano's been working overtime because these D pairings are they're unbelievable right now.
Yeah, everything's clicking, right? Just, everybody's got confidence in their game right now, and you just got to keep riding it. And, every game, like we talked about in our last episode, they they seem to have an injury, and they just plug in Ryan Hartman for where Yeroff was, and everybody played well defensively. That's a team that they win the majority of their games with their special teams, and they didn't have a whole lot of that. So you're relying on Stuart Skinner to be perfect, and he almost did it. But how about Liam Ogren too, setting that screen too? That got Jonas the goal.
Critical plays. We'll talk a little bit more about Liam Ogren in the second half of the postcast. Alex, I've got some good questions teed up, so we'll talk about those. Wild get the shutout win. Jesper shutting out the team that didn't want him. Jonas Brodin clamping down Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and scoring the lone goal. It's a good night to be a fan of the Minnesota Wild, and we'll continue our postcast tonight right after this here on Locked On Wild. Today's postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you are reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Jesper Wallstedt, I just looked at the odds yesterday for the Calder Trophy, and he is in the top 5 as far as odds go. So if you're looking for a way to gaze into the crystal ball, look a little farther ahead into the future, Calder Trophy favorites. I got to see it. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Tonight's postcast also brought to you by DripDrop. When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, energy, mood, even my skin. That's why I've been using DripDrop. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power no matter what my day looks like. DripDrop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. Folks, being properly hydrated is everything. I notice it on days where I don't get enough water in my system, so I might as well enjoy what I am drinking. Plain water, you add some spice to it, add some flavoring, much better. And right now, DripDrop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to DripDrop.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL. That's DripDrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard and keep your body and mind performing at their best with DripDrop. Minnesota Wild with a 1-0 shutout win over the Edmonton Oilers. The Wild are now 15-7-5 in the season, or as we say on Locked On Wild, 15-12. 15-12, but hey, they were 3-9 to start the season, and it just they have righted the ship. They have righted the ship. I was going to say they've wrote the ship, but that's not it. Couple of questions, and we'll take more. If you have questions, fire them off in the chat. We got 120 people in here right now, vibing after a Minnesota Wild win. Minnesota Wild, by the way, continue their foothold on the 3rd spot. Dallas Stars lost to the New York Rangers in overtime at home. That's like the 4th win that the Rangers have had at home this season.
Crazy.
They've been really bad. Okay, let's go to this from Pete the Great. Happy about the wins. Any thoughts on how to get the offense rolling a little more? Also thought that Yurov was missed. I definitely agree. I think Yurov absolutely over the last few games was really kind of carving himself out a role in that top six. The offense will come and go. I think the big thing is just going to be getting Marco Rossi back at this point. Once we get to where we're actually fielding the full team, then you can kind of look for those spots that need a little something. I still maintain you could really make a big splash in the top six and put yourself in a great position, as we'll talk about here in a second. But at this point, let's get everybody back and then let's identify the weaknesses and let's go attack them.
Yeah, the offense is what it is, right? They have guys playing higher than what they normally should be, and once you get everybody back healthy, it's hard to do. But once everybody is healthy, then you have guys slotted in their spots where they should be. And you nailed it with Rossi too. He was playing really well before he got hurt, and once he's 100%, then you slot guys back down to where they should be. Hartman can go back down to a grinder line, and you figure out where to fit Yurov in there, because he's been playing really well when given the opportunity. It's not always showing on the score sheet, but he's playing in the right spots. So really fun to see some of these young guys step up for sure.
I got to give a shout out to Locked On Sharks joining the show. Imagine not having a supremely talented young goalie on your roster. What a miserable season those teams must be having.
Well, how about, Barry Trotz has got to be feeling just awful getting rid of Askarov, because, Saros is, he's had longevity in the league, but it's tough to rely on a small goalie, in this day and age now. And he had Askarov right there and, decided to give him away. I think that was just an awful move.
Many
in a series of moves by Nashville, and that's where they are. And they're trying to get a first round pick for Ryan O'Reilly at this stage in his career. Good luck.
Couldn't imagine.
Poor Philip
what it's
Forsberg.
like to have a team. If Philip Forsberg becomes available,
oh my God, you're right on. Yeah, that's the top six guy, top line guy.
Don't him and John Hines not get along at all?
Yes, that was
is there something?
Yeah. Well, Hines didn't get along. That's why he's not in Nashville too. But yeah, yeah.
Denny, I see Denny in the chat. Denny, good evening. Welcome in.
Hey,
Captain of the comment section. We always appreciate his presence. Denny, let us know your thoughts on the game tonight. We'll make sure to highlight those. Dan, I am not going to highlight that comment.
We're getting unhinged already.
That was a good one. Let's go on to this. It's early in the year, I know, but as of now, it looks like this team is a role player and a top six scorer away from being a contender. They got the defense locked down. Time to add some offense. Could not agree more.
Right.
We have been championing that campaign for years.
Mm-hmm.
And a top six wing, because I'll say this. Marcus Johansson is off to a great start this year. I don't know if you can count on that for a full season. He's been a good placeholder, but I'd rather shore that spot up.
100%. Especially if they make the playoffs, they're on a good roll right now. But if they get in that playoff spot, they're going to need another scorer for sure to get to advance past the first round.
Yeah, they need to shore up that second line. in a meaningful way. Who that ends up being, Tage Thompson, if he, the moment he becomes available, I'm going to drag Billy to Buffalo headquarters, and we're going to get that done.
And you have to, if you have to give up some good young prospects, you do it, because that's a guy that is hungry for postseason action. He hasn't gotten it in Buffalo. I mean, he had an amazing, he had the game-winning goal in the World Championships this past summer. So, he was really gunning to play well there to try to make the Olympic team here in a couple months. I'm sure if he doesn't make it, he'd be like the odd man out. But that's a guy that should make the Olympic team with his size and skill and scoring ability, and he would be perfect on the power play with the Wild.
Let's keep this in mind too. It can certainly be a right hand shot. We're not precluded from trading for right hand shots.
Right.
Like I think it would benefit to have a few more of those. Oh, Robertson, please. Could you imagine?
Yeah, he's been on fire.
I would literally die. So here's, and I maybe am overdue for doing a trade episode. If I'm being fully honest, I basically just look to see what particular other podcasts are linking the Wild to as far as trades go, and then I just debunk them. Maybe that's not a great strategy. I don't like to be like the bully in the podcast world, but I basically just, hey, this player's been linked to the Minnesota Wild, and I look at the player and I'm like, no. These are the teams that are out at this point. The Nashville Predators, out. The Calgary Flames, out. Vancouver has stated that they're out. St. Louis has stated that they are looking to be out. But here's the problem.
Just lost Jimmy Snuggerud too. So.
Yeah, those are the four teams. And while there are pieces on those rosters, a lot of those guys aren't playing well.
Yeah, Kadri's going to cost a ton too. So, I mean, that's the perfect Bill Guerin type player. But yeah, he's going to cost a ton, and he is 35. But that'd be the only really interest from Calgary for sure.
I'll go to this one from Caden again. Do you think the Oilers will be sellers this year if they keep failing to win? Seems like a frustrated club with plenty of talent. Honestly, I think the next step for them is to fire. Is it Scotty Bowman? Is Scotty Bowman there? One of the Bowmans.
Stan Bowman. Yeah. Stan
Bowman. Thank you.
Yeah. Scotty's his dad, legend. Yeah.
I would fire Stan because they have just allowed Stuart Skinner to operate that net for the last 4 years and have not meaningfully upgraded in any way. And it's the thing that you can point to that has let them down every season.
Yeah, and how do you? I mean, not even the backup Calvin Pickard's not great either. So they don't even have they don't have anything, and they don't have anything in the minors too. They that's where they screwed up, where they could have drafted Jesper, but they refused to do that when they knew they had no depth for goaltending. And this Edmonton Oilers team will never be sellers when you have Draisaitl, you have McDavid, Zach Hyman, Evan Bouchard, Ekholm. So that's a team that you can't. They'll just never tank. And that would that would piss McDavid off. There, he signed that short-term deal. That would really make him say, yeah, I'm not gonna sign another contract with you guys.
I'll echo this point from Denny. There have been people that have said, well, now you got to trade Gus now that Jesper is good. No, you don't. No, you don't. Like, this is a good stretch, and I hope it continues. But they're going to need to, like, as good as Jesper has been right now, he's not going to get shutouts every game. There's going to be a stretch where they're going to need to lean on Gus a little more, which is why you need to have both.
You signed Gus to his big contract for a reason to play a lot. And what? You trade him and then you have Cal Peterson come up? Yeah, that would be a disaster. What if Jesper gets hurt and then you have Cal Peterson? No, it's just you can't trade Gus right now. You just signed him too. What would be the point in signing him to trade him right away?
Yeah. Guys, we're not going to have to worry about the Olympics because I saw an update that the ice in Milan is not in great shape.
It's small. It's going to be smaller than, shorter, which is just going to be chaos. The hits, that's why Tom Wilson probably made Team Canada, just because he can go ballistic. If you're a big hitter, you're going to have even more fun because of the smaller ice. I don't know. How did they not think this through before they decided to do that? And how are the rinks? How are they not ready?
Yeah, they're literally building it as we speak, and they're supposed to do a major like ice test within the next month, to the point that the NHL now is at least considering pulling out. This is good. This is going to be great. This is going to be fantastic. It's going to go off without a hitch.
Games are going to be chaos. I don't know what the time difference is from Milan to you, like Central Time. That's going to be interesting to see when games are. Is if it it's going to remind us maybe of COVID times where you're just watching hockey at all sorts of different hours, maybe in the morning, like early mornings, maybe way late at night. So yeah, I'll just remind us of the bubble times.
We're going to postcast at 3:21 a.m. for Team USA versus Canada.
Oh man, I can't wait to see who like makes it for Team Italy, because the host country automatically gets a team, so that'll be interesting. I remember the Winter Olympics when they were in China, and China just got absolutely torched. So hopefully Team Italy can have a little bit better chance. It would be cool if they were to allow like Marcus Foligno to make it, but they probably wouldn't like that but it would be fun.
Why have Marcus Foligno when you can have Ben Jones on the Olympic roster? That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Big Bear says it's about like a 7-hour time difference. Okay, so yeah. Oh, Brit saying, is Russia still banned? Yes, Russia will be banned until the war is done, and God knows, who knows. Seth and I might be in our 60s by the time that gets over with. But it's too bad with Russia. I mean, they could have Kucherov, Kaprizov, Vasilevsky, all those guys. It stinks that we aren't able to see them all together. Panarin, it's just really too bad.
I want to go to this one from Go Cubs Go. Are you happy with Zeev Williams' play over the last few games? And Alex, that defensive pairing with him and Zach Bogosian has been solid. Zeev himself has been solid. I know the power play's in a bit of a rut right now, but he just continues to get more and more confident, to the point that there is zero reason to take him out of the lineup at all unless he's injured. And he just continues to grow into his role, much like Danila Yurov did, much like Jesper Wallstedt is right now.
That's why Bogo's still on the team, right? For his leadership and mentoring a guy like Zeev. I think that's he's been a decade plus defenseman in the NHL, and he knows just what it takes to win. And it's good that he's paired with Zeev, and Zeev's just going to continue to grow. I mean, we've seen him at every level. He's a winner, and he just gets things done. He was so much fun to watch at Denver and World Juniors. Just Thank you, Philadelphia, for not taking Zeev. Can you imagine they could really use him right now, and they just decided to pass on him for a guy that probably is not going to be a long-term NHLer like Zeev is. So thank you, Briere.
We don't need Zeev Boyum because we have a bunch of those particular size defensemen in our lineup. Good one. Okay.
Yeah, Zeev is better than Cam York. It's yeah, you figure it out. You draft the best available, and you figure it out. Once you have them on the team, you can make it work.
I will say that Zeev has specifically mentioned how pivotal Zach Bogosian has been in just helping him get acclimated to NHL life this year. So I know we have ragged on the guy extensively for his skill, but this is kind of the same thing I talked about last year with Damon Hunt. Having a guy like Bogosian to strictly mentor, like specifically mentor Zeev, that's where the value is. That's where the value lies in his play, and that's the reason that he's in the lineup at this point. And as long as the numbers continue to be good, he's going to stay there.
Hey, it could be worse, right? You could have John Merrill still on the team, and him being the veteran presence. So I'm glad Bogo is still around to help mentor Zeev. So it could always be worse.
I got to answer this one from Will. He wants to know what the logo is on my hat here. That is, of course, none other than the newest Northwoods League baseball team, the Richmond Flying Mummies. The Richmond Flying Mummies of Richmond, Indiana. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know how.
Do they play the Moondogs?
Why? No, they're in the other side of the bracket.
Okay.
I don't know how or why, but it popped up on my Instagram feed, and I was like, okay, that's a sick hat. And they had them on sale, which I'm glad, because now regular price they're $50, but I got it for about half that. They were doing a hey, look at us, we're the new team special. And I grabbed one and.
Those minor league teams, the team names are always absurd. Like in the East Coast Hockey League, there's the Wheeling Nailers that Biz Nasty was on. Pittsburgh Penguins affiliate. Yeah, just crazy names in the East Coast Hockey League.
The Minot Hot Tots. Gotta be careful with that one. Hot Tots.
Not safe for work.
Their mascot is literally a tater tot. Like, this is what we're doing now, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't there that absurd minor league team with like the Pickles, and their social handle is they just do all sorts of absurd stuff?
Yeah, there are too many. There are too many of those to keep track of. Let's finish with this one because it's getting late. I have to go to bed.
Yes,
because I am attempting to fight off this hideous cold that I've had for a week. It's mostly out of my system, but part of the way that I've been fighting it off is by actually getting requisite sleep. Right. What do you guys think the lines look like once Yurov, Rossi, and Foligno all return? So
I think you move Rossi back to the top line.
Yeah, I would agree.
What I would really like is, I don't know if they would break it up, but it would be nice to see Yurov with Boldy on that second line and then move Marcus down to the third line. I don't know if they want to break up that second line, but the way Yurov has been playing, it'd be fun to see him still stick in that top six. Because I think playing him in the bottom six doesn't help in his development.
Yeah, I would agree. I know it will likely be Foligno, Trenyan, and Sturm. The Wild like that line combination. Frankly, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
So I know that combination is going to be put together. The key is, like, what does that other line look like? You've got Hartman, You've got Vinny Hinostroza. You also have at some point in the lineup, and you just are kind of left with like that's the big key is like you've got these other line combinations that work, and then you have this other line that is just kind of the rest.
Yeah, Tarasenko, I'm so disappointed in his play, and it's like, is he going to get extremely pouty if you healthy scratch him? You just don't want to cause any locker room drama right now. But at this point, it's just like he's not bringing you anything really.
No, the Brett Marshall had that graphic that he put together. I'll have to go find it. Noticeable drop in performance for all of the lines that Vladimir Tarasenko is on at this point compared
He's
to
the new
when
anchor.
they don't have him. Yeah. He is a boat anchor. He is a slow boat anchor.
Yeah. It just, the injuries caught up to him. He's not that old, but it just he's not the same player. And yeah, when you have those shoulder injuries, it just zaps you out. Look at Matt Dumba. He has never been the same since he got in that fight with Tkachuk. Yeah, it's too bad.
Brady Tkachuk, let's go get him. How about that? Do it now.
Yeah.
Do it. Finish it.
Right.
All right. That is, I think, gonna wrap it up for tonight's postcast. I am working on just trying to get the schedule to line up with the team on the road. Working on getting Gorgie back on to talk about the goalie play, because I know he had a chance to sit down with both Jesper and Philip Gustafsson. So working on that for sometime in the next week. I'm gonna try to get a couple of other media personnel on the show here coming up now that the schedule has calmed down slightly. But hey, another great win for the Minnesota Wild. 1-0 over the Edmonton Oilers. If only the Oilers had a goalie. Oh wait, they almost did. But
poor Connor McDavid, poor Leon. Yes, oof.
Yes, and Audra Martin is back.
Yeah.
Happy all around. Make sure to hit that like button before you head out, and we'll be back on Thursday as the Wild will try to tame the Calgary Flames. Until then, peace out. Wild with a big win. Alex, thanks for hopping on.
Yes.
We'll catch you on the next one here on Locked On Wild. We are your team every day.